Hey Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, shares, views, subscribes, the comments, hypes, generous donations in all forms, everything. I appreciate it all. Let's ring this bell. Let's go ahead and clear out the energy. And then we're going to see what the message the Spirit has for us this Sunday afternoon or whenever you happen to see this. I'm hearing that song. First you didn't know me, now you want to be all up on me. Somebody took what you did for granted. No. I take that back. They didn't take it for granted. They thought you was talking shit. Like, let's just say that you had went to school for all these years and you were now a brain surgeon. And you told somebody, yeah, I'm a brain surgeon. And they're like, what? You? Pisha? Like, no way. There's no way. Hey, High Priestess 2024. Somebody didn't believe you. They had absolutely, positively no faith in you. Only to find out one day they're leafing through a magazine. They're at their doctor's office waiting to go in to see their doctor for their appointment. And they're leafing through this magazine and they see this article talking about the top 10 brain surgeons, in the entire world. And they see you. They're like, no fucking way. Like, how stupid do they feel at that point? Hey, J. Mike, blessed Sunday to you. How small do they feel at that moment? Because you told them, but they didn't believe you. They had no faith in you. Bottom of the deck, the death card. What a way to start out. Somebody knows that it's confirmation. It's hard for them to save face. There's nothing that somebody can come back and say to you now, because basically they told you to kiss their ass. They called you a liar. They said you was a little cray-cray. They said you was making shit up. They said all this shit about you. And now there's no way for them to come back from that. They see they got themselves in a position, only to find out they found out all this information about you, possibly about where you work, what you do, and it's this information that was meant for them to find out, and more is coming out. This is information that somebody felt like they had all the answers, only to find out they didn't have all the answers. And this is something that you're good at. This is something that, brings you, joy. This is something that brings you that wish fulfillment. Hey, the Roman Zelensky. Hi, one, Brazy. How are you? Hey, the Blue Star 222. And I told you it was about what kind of work you do with the Ace of Wands. What kind of work you do. This is something that, I feel like this person, now they see that you are somebody that they should have gave a whole lot of credibility to. This is somebody, because you have that, you're happy, you're content. And even whenever they told you, what, you brain surgeon, go on, get out of here with that shit. That didn't deter you. It didn't hurt your feelings. You just shrugged your shoulders and said, okay. Hey, the soul archetype, how are you? Hi, loyalty over everything 143. Hey, High Priestess 369. I'm so glad that you could join us. Now this person is trying to find a way to save face, make things better, to ask for some forgiveness, to go from rough waters or calm waters, even though they didn't care that the waters was rough whenever they thought that you was trying to pull their leg. Now somebody's trying to find a way to start a conversation. They're trying to get a message to you. You know, it's like they see that you was being honest, you was telling the truth about what you do for work, and that you good at it, that you have, you've received worldwide acclaim for it. you know Hey, K Hyphy, how are you? Yeah, this person, now they see that, you know what, they thought that you was bullshitting. But now that they found out the truth about what you do for work, or where you work, or who you work with, or everything else, they are completely blown away. Everything that they thought about you, every misconceived idea, every preconceived notion is blown out the water. Their mind is blown. And they feel that they're under judgment. Because you know what? They went behind your back and was lying about you, and they was talking about you. They was like, yeah, so-and-so collector said that they a brain surgeon. Yeah, okay, whatever. They don't even know how to think straight. They ain't, we was shocked whenever they graduated kindergarten. When they walked across that stage, we said that's probably the highest level of education they ever gonna get. So now they got to sit there and think of a way for them to go and correct all that shit, because they had no rights to even go behind your back like that. Like I said, you wasn't worried about it. You just shrugged your shoulders and was like, okay, the sun was still shining over you. Now this person is receiving justice, and you are too. This person, it's like things that they thought that they thought they was really moving and shaking. They thought they was really doing something. They was really doing something compared to you. you know and now they're finding out that they're the ones that were stuck. They were the ones who should have had a different point of view. They're the ones who should have given you that shadow of a doubt. And it's something about all of this. You kind of held back on like, you're not a person that's going to go out there and brag. You wasn't out in the streets trying to brag, trying to make it seem like this, trying to make it, you wasn't showboating, only to find out that you was making some good ass money. The shit that you was talking about was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And see, somebody, now they see that, you know what? Not only was you stable, but you had invested your time and your energy into getting to where you are at now. This person feels like they owe you a big ass apology. They really do. Because you know what? They made a decision. They had a choice, and their choice was to, like I said, talk bad about you, to character assassinate you, to not give a shit about what they said about you, only to find out everything that you said was the truth. Somebody wants to come towards you. Like I said, they want to offer their apologies, and they want to tell you how they regret even going there, even doubting you. Hey, Nancy, how are you? Like I said, they and it's like I said, they were sitting there gossiping with somebody else about you. It's like they was gossiping about like with this warlock about you. Only to find out that no matter what they said, you were still moving forward. You were still covering ground. You were still doing your thizzle. Hey, Yolanda. Hi, Lewis. How are you? It's almost like you was talking about the work that you do, and you're really good at it. You are like this rising star. And the more energy you put into the work that you do, the better off you're getting. And now somebody is looking at you, and they're thinking about, instead of giving to you equally, or instead of encouraging you, instead of building you up, they didn't. And like I said, now that they find out the truth about you, they feel dumb. Now they need something, but that wheel of fortune is not turning in their favor. And they know that they have the nerve trying to think that they can come to you, ask you for anything, whenever they sat there and dogged you behind your back. Because this person couldn't see that, you know what? Maybe they really are a brain surgeon, because, I don't really know what they do on the day in and day out. Maybe they really do, even if you said that you was a psychic, maybe they really are a psychic, because I don't see them every day. Maybe they went through something that I'm not even aware of. Maybe they had this gift, but they just didn't tell me about it. Maybe this person should have did all that. But instead, they just said, nah, not collective. Nope, not collective. But see, they didn't know about the battles that you had to protect yourself from, the things, that the spiritual battles that you had to protect yourself from. They didn't know about how you had to be, connected psychically to not just people around you, that you had to be open to understand the downloads that God was giving you, how you had to have that open heart, that open mind, how your chakras, all your chakras had to be open before, so that you could feel this energy, so that you could develop those gifts, how you was paying attention, how you was always even whenever you was asleep, you were still paying attention. Everything was open. You were still receiving. You were still, your mind was still formulating it and figuring shit out and understanding. And then when you wake up, you had to think about it. I mean, it's like your brain was constantly going. They didn't think about none of that. They thought you was just sitting around, picking your nose, watching TV, drinking or smoking or whatever, but they never, ever, ever thought that you was actively working. Even if they saw you sitting down, they didn't even, to them, it looked like you were just sitting there. But instead of you sitting there, you was actually doing your spiritual work. You was actually fighting these spiritual battles. You was actually receiving these downloads. And they sit there and see you type something or write something or text something. And they didn't know you was sitting here fighting these spiritual battles. They just said, oh, they texting another ninja. Oh, they texting some 304. They doing this, they doing that. Even when it appeared that you was sitting back, laying, taking a nap, you wasn't taking a nap. You was in prayer. You was actively fighting that way. Hey, Aisha. How are you? Confirmation. You know, it's like you was, and now this King of Cups. Hey, Shaylin. Now this King of Cups, hey, Letitia, is sitting here thinking about this Queen of Cups and how much worldly knowledge that this Queen of Cups has. How this Queen of Cups was actively, helping people all over the world, but they couldn't see it. Just because they couldn't see it with their own eyes didn't mean it wasn't happening. They heard you talking about, love. They heard you talking about God. They heard you talking about angels and archangels and spiritual battles and this and that. The heavenly realms and the 5D, the 7D, the 9D, and stay away from the 3D. And they heard you talking about all this stuff. And they're like, man, I wish they collective would shut the hell up with all that shit. But now what they understand, since they understand that, you know what, you was not bullshitting, you was telling the absolute God-given truth. You was telling them that they needed to leave the devil, leave these devilish ways alone. They needed to stop fighting, and doing this and doing that. They needed to do all this shit. Oh, Christine, thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. Hey, Tyreek. Hey, Lies Never Stuck. See, they was listening to the wrong person. They was listening to somebody who didn't even know what they was thinking, who didn't even know themselves. They was just listening to somebody who felt like they knew it all. Their heart chakra was all closed because they got their arms all folded. This emperor who felt like they knew everything but didn't know a damn thing. Somebody who couldn't see the forest through the trees. Who couldn't even see that, this puddle was not because somebody poured water into it with the cup. It was because it had just rained an hour before. Somebody who thought they knew it all but really didn't know a damn thing. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Hi, Ladybug 614. It's like they listened to somebody who did not fucking know. They sat here and watched you walk into this forest alone. They sat there and watched you walk alone. And they thought, oh, it's because nobody want to be around collective. No, it's because, you know what? It's number one, it's lonely at the top. And number two, our journey was just for us, our journey. And now they see that you walking along, you came up with your 10th pentacle. That's where you get all this. That's why you're known as worldwide and good at what you do. You went into the forest alone, and when you came out, you had your 10th pentacle. Meaning you was fully vested in what you do. Now somebody, they want to come up and they want to talk to you about it. They want to ask you about how you even got started with this Page of Pentacles. How you even got started, how you even knew it was for you. Now they want to come up and they want to have an adult conversation. Now they want to have some discernment to understand that, you know what? You went through this whole fucking fire, and when you came out a diamond, just because they thought it was cubic zirconia, that's all on them. They didn't know your value, but you did. And that's why whenever somebody said, "Ah, man, go on with that collective," you was just like, okay, cool. And you kept it moving. See, somebody wanted to attack you. They thought they could come up against you, but now they hate that they even did that shit, that they made that choice. They thought they was going to knock you off your square, only to find out you own the entire square. They had no place to stand. They ain't have a leg to stand on. They ain't have a foot to stand on. They ain't have shit to stand on. Because you knew what time it was. Now somebody looking back and feeling like a damn fool. Feeling like a clown for listening to another motherfucking clown. They know that you got your guards up, you know? And now somebody want to come and they want to say, yeah, well, I should have. You should have what? You should have what? See, you knew that they should have walked beside you. They should have encouraged you. They should have had some faith in you. They should have believed you. And now here they are, can't sleep, can't eat, trying to figure out what they're going to do. Because only to find out everything that you said was the truth. Let's just say you prophesied 5 years ago. They said, fuck all that. Collector don't know what the fuck they talking about. 5 years later, they're like, damn, everything Collector said has happened. Everything Collector said has happened. Lewis, J. Mike or Shaylan, I don't know what Lewis is trying to say. We went through this yesterday. Hey, 231 Page Home, how are you? See, it's like, now somebody is figuring out they should not have said shit when it comes to how you making your money or what you're good at or what your profession is. They shouldn't have said shit, especially if they didn't know. Like they say, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say a motherfucking thing. Now they're looking at you all balanced, looking all sweet and kind and gentle. And and whenever you told them you was an earth angel, they believe you now. Now they believe you. And now they're thinking about your relationship. How you was always there for them. How you balanced them out. They believe you now. Now that they see how strong you are. Now that they see how many battles that you had to win. And you didn't do it with this muscle. You did it with this muscle. You did it with your spiritual muscle. You did it down with the downloads. You did it with all your chakras being open. Now they get it. Now they get it. But now they feeling cursed. They feeling stuck. They feeling overwhelmed because they didn't get it before, because they refused to listen to you, that you even received downloads from the Spirit. Downloads from God, that God talks to you daily. They didn't believe that. They went around talking about, see, whatever Collective works on, that's all bullshit. Don't believe that shit. That's all bullshit. Don't believe that shit. They sat there and said it was something dark. They sat there and called you, some dark priest, some warlock, only to find out they the motherfucking warlock. They was sitting there talking negative about you. After all this time, somebody now is going back and they telling everybody that shit is true. Yep. Collective is psychic. Collective is a brain surgeon. Collective is this. Collective is that. Yep. That's the truth. That's the truth. Collective was telling the truth. Yep. That's my collective. Now they want to go, yeah, that's my collective. Yeah, that's my collective. I always knew collective was going to do that. I would do this. Now they want to co-sign for you. What's the message, Spirit? Before they was like, oh man, I wish collective would stop this embarrassing shit. This shit is embarrassing. But now they like, no, no, yeah, it's weird, ain't it? But collective, that's collective. What's the message? What's the message? Hey, Shadia, so how are you? I'm glad that you're here too. Yeah, and see this emperor, he all in his feelings. Because he was proved wrong. People are looking at him like, damn, you was the first one out the gate talking shit. You was this and you was that. Like you should at least had some, like, damn, you supposed to be the one that was running the show and all this other stuff. Hold on, y'all. It's a whole lot of cards that just fell. Hold on. Hold on, let me get it off. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Okay, we back. We back and I'm still getting it together. See, yeah, because it was this emperor sitting here like going all around. I feel like this emperor was traveling around trying to discount you. But see, now this shit is coming back on them. And on the type of person that this emperor truly was. Now the shit is coming right back around. And this is why this emperor is all in his feelings. Because everybody was like, damn, you know how you kind of look at somebody, like look them up and down, like, damn, yeah, okay. Like, oh, hey, how you doing, Emperor? Because somebody said, a whole lot of people saying that was your biggest hater. Everybody is saying this was your biggest hater. And like I said, everybody is shocked and they don't want to believe shit else that this hater got to say. And this was part of your family who was sitting there talking about you the worst. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? I know this emperor got to feel shamed. Got to feel shame. That was the biggest hater talking about you the absolute fucking worst. Only to find out that all that shit was true. You knew what the fuck you was talking about when you were saying it. And you also, you knew what the fuck you was talking about, even though you did. It wasn't right in front of your face. When people was like, how they know? Damn, how they know? How they see all this? You saw it because your connection, because of your spiritual connection, because of your journey, because of your purpose, because of who you actually are. And somebody thought that you couldn't see nothing, like they just making that shit up. No, you wasn't. Now somebody trying to figure out how they're going to come back. And this is a major thing because these are all major arcana. Now somebody's sitting here trying to figure out how they're going to come back from this shit, from talking bad about you, from being your biggest hater. They know you don't trust them. They know that you got them on block. You keeping them with a long handled spoon. And you doing just fine. You happier without them. And you still honoring yourself. You still doing whatever it is that you need to do. What's the message, Spirit? Yep. Somebody, this came to the side, the 501. Somebody trying to figure out a way of how they can act like they wasn't really trying to come up against you, how they wasn't really trying to fight with you, to discount you. But they're not figuring out a way. Not at all. Is it, High Priestess? What's the message? Hey, Tina, how are you? What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? I don't know why people get off doing that type of stupid shit. And said, because it's like, you know what? There's a subscriber, Dr. White, Rosie White. And, if you just, if you don't believe in the power of God, then, and you listen to her, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, no. But you know what? One day we were on the phone. She ain't never been to my house, ever. Didn't know what the inside of my house looked like at all, ever. But she told me exactly where some cards were and what they were sitting on, what they was next to, and all that shit. And I was like, I was there all the way in the kitchen. I was like, damn. I came back in here and looked, and that same, and she told me that it was outside of the box, and it was the cards, and it was sitting on this box with these green flowers, and it was right there, exactly where she said. She even said it was on the right hand side. It was on the right hand side. That's when I said, okay, God, thank you for confirming with me not to make no snap judgments about what anybody got to say. What's the message? What's the message? Thank you, Spirit. Yep. See, something is coming in for you. Somebody is something is coming in, whether I feel like it may be more communication, or something is coming in for you because or maybe a person, because I feel like somebody wants you to help them. They feel that you are an earth angel. They know this, but this is somebody who you have your guards up against, because this is somebody who did you wrong in the past, and now it's almost like, somebody, I kind of feel like somebody's coming in because they want you to pray for them. They feeling lost. They want you to pray for them. They want you to ask God specifically to help them. Because, yeah, it's like all that bullshit that they was talking about you, it's been shown to be bullshit. And how somebody was trying to bully you, they looking really weak right about now. They look real weak. And don't nobody believe none of that shit that they talking about. Hey, LP, how are you today? Real weak. Decent named Tina. I repeated the myth. I'll greatly utilize time. What? Apologies to everyone decent named Tina. I experienced the method out greedy liar Tina for everyone. I don't know what that means. What's the message, Spirit? Hi, Isla Lilo. How are you? What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, somebody wants to see about if y'all can work on your relationship. They kind of feel like, and these are two females in this cup. I don't know if this could be a sister. I kind of feel like it's a sister. And because see, they have I kind of feel like it's a sister, somebody coming asking you, to pray. Because I feel like, you know what, somebody had, as far as this king and this queen of cups, somebody had said some shit about this king and queen of cups, and about their happiness, almost to get somebody to feel defensive. But I kind of feel like you already knew about what that was going on. And so you just taking it in stride. You've already dealt with that. You've already, like they say, forgiven. You've already moved beyond that. And you're just standing in your power, Empress. Shailene, can you just, or J Mike, can you just remove Lewis, period? He seems to be bringing some negativity. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Let's kick him out. Sorry, Lewis. We don't do the negativity around here. Okay. Hey, Bobby Dale. How are you? Hi, Travion. How are you? What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, somebody, it's like, somebody wants you to, I feel like somebody wants you to pray for them. After doing all this bullshit, after causing all these problems for you, after talking all this shit about you, now they want your help. How does that work? Anything else from this deck? Excuse me. Good Lord. Anything else? Yeah, but somebody sees that you are the real deal, Holyfield. You have been blessed by God. The God is smiling on you. They know that you're the real deal. I feel like that's why somebody wants to come and they want to ask for your prayers. They want to ask for your forgiveness. Hey, Purple Flowers, how are you? Hey, Baby Yoda. Yeah, bottom of the deck, 3 of Pentacles. Yep, because this information, this message, this information is getting around town quick about you. Yes, quick about you. Everybody's hearing about all of this, and now everybody's thinking about, how somebody was sitting here spreading all these lies, causing all these problems, trying to curse your name, trying to do this, trying to do that. People are hearing about both sides of the situation. Did you know that Collective really is a brain surgeon? But you know what? Remember so-and-so and how so-and-so Collective was full of shit? Well, that's the person that's full of shit. Because they also said about Collective, and they also said this, and none of that shit. And remember when Collective said about 4 or 5 years ago that this is going to happen, this going to happen, this going to... Look what didn't happen. Look what did happen. Hey, Courage Brave 123. Yes, Super Bowl Sunday. Yep. Because now people believe you when you were saying that you was working on your crap. And especially since you're really good at it. People believe you now. And you like one of the best. Like I said, you a world known brain surgeon. Okay? They know that you were on your journey, on your spiritual path. You know, and they feel like better. Expect some news to come in. Expect something to come in. I'm telling you, you're going to hear about the death of somebody's ego. Somebody having an ego death for sure. You know, you're going to hear about how somebody, the everything is turned for this person and how they having to fight to protect their name, or they fighting this or they fighting that, you know, and how they was confused, how this shit just turned around, like a difference a day made. You're going to hear about all of that. And just know that you were spiritually protected the entire time somebody was talking about you. Just know that you was receiving that spiritual protection because people did their research. This is why everybody's making this judgment call, because, like I said, they found out the truth about this person, and it ain't pretty. And then they find out the truth about you, and it is pretty. I'm telling you, your family been sitting here causing problems for you for a long ass time. They've been causing problems for you. They didn't want nobody to believe you. They wanted you to be by yourself, and you spent that time by yourself doing wonderful things, fighting spiritual battles that nobody knew about. You know, winning spiritual wars. Hey, David. Doing the things that people could only dream about doing. Hey, the Divine Oracle, how are you? Yeah. And just to think, by yourself, people were sitting here calling you a fool, only to find out they was the foolish ones. They've been calling you a fool since you was a little child, only to find out them motherfuckers was the foolish ones. Ain't that something? Now they see that you've had this gift all along. This is why you looked at everything differently. This is why you could look at something and see it in a whole new way. Other people would look at it and they would say, oh, it's this and such and such and such. And you look at it and you say, actually, no, that's not the truth. It's such and such. And you were speaking the truth because you saw things clearly, whereas they couldn't see it at all. They were seeing it with they 3D eyes, but you was looking at it with your third eye. Big difference. Somebody else was doing, this could have been some mother or something doing magic under the moon. Thinking that you wasn't going to be able to see something or tell something or know that you had these gifts. But you knew it. You saw it. You knew it. You felt it. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah. Somebody was doing magic under the moon. Like that. And I'm telling you, had everybody fooled. Only to find out. But like I said, they didn't think that you was ever going to be able to tap in, but baby, you tapped in. You tapped in. And now they so shocked. They shocked at you because then you came out smelling fresh like roses, shining bright like a diamond, and they shocked. This person, they want to heal from this. They want to heal this relationship with you. Because they know that whenever they walked away, it was like them walking away from God. Like they turned their back on God when they turned their back on you. And this person, they've been receiving, it's been a struggle. You know, everybody been fighting over some money that ain't even really there. It's been a struggle. This person, like I said, and they confused how they were so confused to believe all these fucking lies. Like I said, not only did it come out that you was telling the truth, it came out that you knew what the fuck you was saying when you told the truth. You was spot the fuck on. Somebody see that you invested your time wisely, very wisely into you. And like you didn't give a shit what anybody else was saying about you because you knew that they didn't know you. Had they known, you know, it's like you may have even told them one time, you know, I know that I have a special journey because of God and this and that and the other. They was like, I wish this motherfucker would stop dreaming. I wish this motherfucker would do this, only to find out that you was very spot the fuck on. Couldn't have been more. Like they wondering how you knew this shit as if you was even in the room. And you wasn't in the room. But you received that information from God. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, I'm telling you, somebody, they want to come to you. They want to give you a humble apology because now they looking and they see, you know, they realize that you had some hidden enemies that didn't want them to approach you, that didn't want them to believe you, that didn't want them to have faith in you. And like I said, when they walked away from a very gifted person. They know that they walked away from everything that meant something to them, and it wasn't about money. It was about you and your spiritual gifts, because they're realizing that you exercising your spiritual gifts, you are going to be very successful. People are starting to see this now. They turned their back on the wrong one. They should have turned their back on the one who had all that shit to say about you, because you never had anything bad to say about them. You had to protect yourself, you know, and you protecting yourself is what people thought. See, they talking about, no, you was protecting yourself. Somebody sat there and had your name, put your name in their mouth and said some negative shit, and you was just sitting here clearing the shit up. No, that's not the truth. The truth is da 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 da. The truth is such and such. And they was like, see, why you sitting there talking negative? You wasn't talking negative. You was spitting the truth. There's a big difference. Hey, Behaving Goals, how are you? My pleasure. There's a big difference. You know, it's like, yeah, somebody had to realize, hey, Angel Light Tarot, how are you? Somebody had to realize that they was looking at shit wrong. They was missing a big piece of the puzzle. Not you. You saw it. You saw it as it was meant to be seen. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Yep. Now everybody's like, damn, Collective was spot the fuck on. People are sitting there thinking they should have listened to the message that you was given to them a long time ago. Had they listened, they wouldn't have been in this position. Because they said that you was actually the one that was strong, and you wasn't walking around like, yeah, I'm big, I'm bad. Yeah, I know I'm bad. You wasn't doing all that, but you were standing in your power, being the empress that you are. And I'm telling you, shock the fuck out of everybody when you told them that this is what you do for a job, this is what your profession is. Shock the fuck out of everybody, especially whenever they know it to be the truth now. What's the message, Spirit? Hey, Kelly, how are you? Yes, God sees it all. God sees it all. And I feel like that's true. I feel like that's another reason why you wasn't worrying about what somebody else had to say about you. You wasn't worrying about what somebody else had to say about you. Who gives a flying fuck? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about in the first damn place. Let them talk. Let them talk. Because then that just means they're going to be really embarrassed when the truth does come out. That's why you was cool. What's the message, Spirit? Anything else from this deck? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. See, somebody been lying about you and your gifts for a long time. They've been carrying on like this for a long time. And the whole time, your gifts was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they didn't know it because it's not like you was going out saying, hey, I'm developing my gifts. Hey, guess what I can do? I can make this cup levitate now. Hey, guess what I can do? Oh my gosh, we just had this terrible spiritual battle. But you know what? Me and 25,000 other of the 144,000, we all got together and we won. We won. You wasn't doing all that shit. You was letting them just be whoever they wanted to be. Hey, Newald, how are you? You was letting them be whoever they wanted to be. Hi, Infinite One. So, yeah. So what if they talking about you? Like they say, they talked about Jesus. And how many people have read about Jesus, ever heard about Jesus? They talked about him. So who gives a shit if they talk about you? Because that just means they don't know what the fuck they talking about. What's the message? And the whole time you and the whole Empress, they don't know what the fuck they was talking about. And now they feel all sad. They feel stupid. They feel like, they didn't cause problems when there was none. They feeling overwhelmed and depressed. And they feel like they can't bounce back from that. Like I said, they feel like somebody feels like, you are a whole earth angel that they did not give any credit to. And they feel like they are being judged because they are. Because they are. Somebody was just, doing the most. They was doing the most, especially whenever it came to this relationship. I feel like somebody was telling somebody else to put some distance between you and them. And that knucklehead listened. Because they were sitting here filling somebody's ears and eyes with some untruthful shit. That person listened. Hey, for Keith M. How are you, sweetie? That fool sat there and listened. And like I said, you got to feel 10 different types of ways of being stupid. You listening to somebody who's sitting here spreading bullshit, don't know, can't see, can't conceptualize, just because they ain't never heard of it, just because they not chosen, they won't sit there and say you not chosen. How the fuck they know? They not chosen. That's like you sitting here telling a football player, oh, you shouldn't have fell down from that shit. That tackle, it was only 14 guys jumping on top of you. You could have just ran the ball all the way to the end. How the fuck they know whenever they sitting on a couch behind the TV screen, yelling at the screen, come on, go, go, go. Now somebody knows you was telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. What's the message? You know, what's the message? Anything else from this? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody come. They want to come in. They want to talk about something. They got a message, or expect a message. You know, expect a message about how somebody. And I feel like they want to talk about how they betrayed you, but you were already aware that they betrayed you. You know, somebody want to talk about how they know the truth now, and they want to speak the truth because they being judged. You know, everything that they trying to do ain't shit working out. You know, they was trying to get this one job, and they was really trying to get this job, but then they got really bad news about the job, and now their money is funny. You know, they having a hard time making ends meet and everything, and now they see that, you know, you knew what you was talking about whenever you said, you told them that they need to go ahead and fight against the devil and this and that and the other, and now this person is all in their feelings. They can't sleep. They don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Because like I said, their money is all funny and everything. And this person, they've been praying, but they don't feel like their prayers have been heard or answered because they put themselves in this position, all because they were sitting there listening to a bully and they felt like they was being bullied. And now they all upset. You know, they depressed and everything else. And now they understand that you are an earth angel and all you were trying to do was really love them. But instead of loving them, they pushed you out in the cold. You know, any emotions that they had for you, they poured that shit out because they was thinking that everything was going to get better for them, and they was getting ready to close these cycles, and the world, and they was going to be fine, and they didn't need you. Only to find out that they listened to this lying ass warlock motherfucker, and since then, you know, everything been fucked up. Or something like that. I don't know if that's the exact message, but somewhere around in there. What's the message, Spirit? Mm-hmm. And so ever since you walked away, this person been waiting on you to come back. Don't wait. Because you know that they were sitting there lying on you. And they know that they was sitting there believing lies about you. Ever since you walked away, they waiting on you to come back. They were sitting there believing these made up Trump ass motherfucking lies that this controlling ass, lying ass bitch motherfucker emperor was sitting there saying. Cause see, this emperor didn't think that this shit that somebody was going to do some research to find out that the shit wasn't even the truth. So they waiting on you to come back to heal this whole situation. Somebody else then told them, no, you got to accept the truth. When somebody spoke the truth, you should have thought better. You should have thought clear. You should have thought that, you know what? Maybe God was trying to tell your ass something. What's the message, Spirit? What's the fucking message? Mm-hmm. Now they want some balance in their life. I'm telling you, somebody wants you to pray for them. They want you to pray for them so that their life can turn back around. They feel that if you pray, that they'll be able to get out of this cycle that they've been stuck in. They'll be able to be stable once again if you pray for them. Because they know right now, like they say in Japan, they are fucked up. What's the message, Spirit? Bottom of the deck. They fucked up. They all the way fucked up. They know some shit is over. Yeah, and it's justice. That's karma. They know they shit is fucked up, and it's karma that they getting. What you say? I pray for them. I can prove I spent many nights praying for all of them. I know that's right. Yes. You know, and it's like, I feel like it could be some mother or something She really learning the lesson. She learning the lesson she won't ever be able to forget, ever, because everything that she going through, nothing is working. Absolutely nothing. And she's sitting here understanding that, you know what, it has to do with you. The relationship with you. It's like she had stopped talking to you or was praying some bad shit to happen to you, only for that shit to come back around on her. And now she know that you got her on block. And everybody know how you had to defend yourself against this person. You know, and this is the same person that didn't want to give you shit, didn't want nobody to give you nothing, not a penny, not a chocolate chip if you was hungry, nothing. Don't even give you no sandals in the wintertime just to keep your feet off the bare ground. Don't give collective shit. Only to find out that, you know what, you was working with your spirit guides, with your passed over ancestors, with your love, you know, your angel guides and everything from the heavens. Only for her to find out that's who you was working with. Only for her to find out that God was sitting there watching everything. God sat there and watched how somebody tried to unalive you, how the tried to character assassinate you, because somebody thought that they was going to be able to do some shit, like they invested their time, their energy, and all of that. Only to find that the Archangel Michael was right here with you the entire time. Only to find out that what you got to do and how you was going to work and what was on your path, you was going to be a leader of the pack. You was going to be carrying the big stick. Remember that movie Walking Tall? How he carried the big stick? You walking real tall. Your ass is walking around 9, 10, 11 feet high, 11 feet tall. Telling you, this King of Cups want to come. They see things differently now. They want to apologize. They want to ask for something because they looking at what they got. They looking at the shit that they believe. And like I said, they feeling judgment is being called on them because they feel that, you know, now they see that, you know, you was working on your craft. You was doing your thing. You was saying to yourself, you was working on your craft. And whatever you told people that you do as a living, that's what you really do. But somebody, they thought that they was going to be able to finagle some shit, break your heart, you know, get people to see some other shit. Like, don't believe that. Don't believe that. Hey, breath of fresh air. How are you, sweetie? Mm-hmm. Well, I know they got to feel real dumb. Especially if you sat there and prophesied a few years ago about what was going to happen. You told somebody what was going to happen. And they didn't believe you. Only to find out that the shit happened. Maybe not exactly as you said it happened, but the end result was exactly what you said. If you told somebody you about to be broke, fucking around with this person, they're about to be broke. If you told somebody gonna do this, they're gonna stab you in your back, they're gonna do this, do that. That's what the fuck happened. Hi, hello, I see the full light. I'm having a wonderful day, thank you. That's exactly what happened. You told somebody, save yourself. Save yourself, fool. But they didn't. They chose not to see things your way. They didn't want to, they felt like you couldn't heal them, so they went on and did their own little thing. So what you got to do with that? Hey, Create, how are you? What you got to do with that? Yeah, like I said, confirmation. Somebody is getting justice. They're getting karma. They're getting some karma. Now somebody trying to hold it in. They trying to not talk about something. They trying to keep some shit under wraps. You know, that they chose the devil instead of choosing the light. They chose the dark as opposed to choosing the light. They was awake when they made this decision. There wasn't nobody twisted their arm when they made that decision. You even fought for this person. You even fought to give this person good information, but they still didn't want to believe you. They didn't want to hear what you had to say. They allowed themselves to be bribed by the same people that they got to fight today. What do? They thought that they was going to have their wish fulfillment by listening to these fucking lies, only to find out that no, you said exactly what it was. And whenever you found out that somebody was dogging you behind your back, that's when you said, I've had enough. See ya. Don't want to be you. Now they're watching you, figuring out for the longest time when they had no loyalty to you, they should have been loyal to you because you the one that got it and was gone with it. God was giving you the blessings. God was bestowing love and mercy and grace on you. Who the fuck do they thought that they was? I know they feel stupid. I know they like they was trying to they was at the casting call for that movie Dumb and Dumber. And they was like, well, we already got a Dumb and Dumber. We don't need a dumber. So you can go on with that shit. What's the message? Confirmation. What's the message, Spirit? Yep. I told you somebody got a mess. They trying to give you this. I feel like somebody's trying to give you the cryptic message. They don't want to just come out and say it. They want to kind of give you bits and pieces, confirmation. They want to give you bits and pieces of a cryptic message because they don't want you to know that they don't want you to get any type of satisfaction in knowing that you was right, knowing that all them lies and everything else is out in the open. They don't want you to know that you was bullseye, baby, bullseye. Like you took the bow and the arrow, you was like, and let that motherfucker go, and it said right into the bullseye. They don't want you to know that shit. But shit, they want to act like, you know, you may, yeah, you kind of gotta you kind of gotta give. You was on a little bit, you know. Yeah, you was getting close. You was getting close, but I really did my research. I did my research to find out. No, baby, you ain't do no research to find out. What you did was you suffered the repercussions of some fucking stupid actions. That's how you found out. The repercussions of those actions that somebody had told you that was getting ready to happen. That's how you found out. What's the message, Spirit? Talking about something. Yeah, well, you know, you could be a little right. No, 100% ain't a little. 100% is the entire pie. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? And see, somebody refused, you know, this whole family wasn't no family. Not to you. Not to you and not to this other person either. Now somebody see that was not even, that ain't no family. These motherfuckers was just trying to break everybody's heart. Your heart, their heart. So yeah, like T.I. say, miss me with that. They didn't want you to know that you was spot on. That's why they went confirmation. That's why they went out their way to try and break your heart, break you down. But they just did not know. Spirit was right there watching. Your ancestors was right there the whole time. They was not getting away with nothing. Because while they think that you didn't see something, you didn't see it the right way, or you saw it the whole right way. You was already enlightened. You was enlightened just like this person had to become enlightened whenever they found out that they was too now being character assassinated. Hey, Marcia. Hey, Miss Mahogany Drag. How are you? Den of Wolves is right, baby. Yep. They thought it was just going to be you, only to find out their name was etched right up underneath yours. When you left, it was their turn. Now you all up and back. What's the message, Spirit? Anything else? Anything else? Yep. This person is so sad. They sad. They brokenhearted, knowing that they missed a gift working with these vagabonds. You know, they are upset. They are upset. You told them. You said, hey, listen, I wouldn't do that. Don't do that, because this person is only going to be doing this to use you. When this happens, when this person is going to be using you, they're going to be this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. See, they thought that they knew this person from the past. No. This is somebody that they did not know. This is somebody that they didn't know. You know, fuck how many years have gone by. This is somebody they didn't know. But you told them. You were standing in your power. You told them. You told them exactly what was going to happen. Somebody was going to come in. They's going to do some raw dog shit. They's going to take them for their money, whatever. They was going to cause some problems. You told them. You told them everything was getting ready to happen. And you knew. Someone thought that they knew somebody better than you. See, you had already fought the devil several lifetimes. You knew, even though the devil kept changing the face, changing the mask, you knew the devil by their characteristics, by what they said, how they walked, how they talked. They may look different, but your spidey senses, your spiritual being in tune told you who the devil was each and every time. You've been here several lifetimes. They may just be starting out. They may be on their second, third, fourth, fifth lifetime. But you much further advanced. Much further advanced. So why wouldn't they just take that information and say, let me see if it's the truth? But no, they was like, I know. You ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me nothing. I know it all. See, you looking at things different. You looking at that old school. That's how they used to do shit. Okay. What's the message, Spirit? Like you so old fashioned. Oh, they don't play them games no more. They play some new games that you ain't aware of. Yeah, okay. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Yeah, see, they are scared you removed the swords because you knew what was going on. You knew what was going on. No matter how old school, how new school, the devil don't change. What's the message, Spirit? What is the message? Oops. Could be somebody with a UVWX in their first, middle, last name. See, they tried to use your name. They need to apologize. Just as loud as that disrespect, and maybe louder than that disrespect. Now they want you. They want to get back with you because of your beauty and your wealth. Now they see what you was talking about, and there's some more hidden information that's coming out. Well, they thought that you didn't know. Hey, Addie, how are you? Addie, I've been sending you emails. I don't think have you seen my emails? What's the message, Spirit? See, somebody thought that they, like that, you know how, and I feel like this is a younger person. Because you know how younger people will tend to sit there and think that they doing the same shit that you did, but you did yours long time ago. They doing theirs now, but they think that you don't know what the fuck they doing. It's like, I know exactly what you're doing because we did that shit too. In fact, the reason I know exactly what you're doing is because I used to do that shit. You know? What's the message, Spirit? Anything else? Yep. Somebody, they stalking your social media. But they's a firm believer now. Yes, Lord, there's a firm believer now. Because see, this narcissistic father, this emperor we saw, entice somebody to make a bad decision so that they can get 2 souls for the price of 1 soul for the devil. Yep. Whereas you remember, confirmation laying on your grandpap's chest. Well, grandpap is in the building. Welcome in, grandpap. Now somebody is finally dealing with it, and they got these real emotions welling up because of their disloyal, because of the regret, because of the failure, because they got caught, because everything that they thought that they was working so hard for, it's gone down the drain. Everything. And people are looking at them like, damn, I didn't know you was like that. See, they didn't think about all that whenever everything came out. They didn't think it was going to be like that. Somebody married the pedophile adult boyfriend, and somebody else was going behind bars, either physically or spiritually. And here you are, always graceful, always peaceful. Yep. And I'm telling you, somebody's watching you. And you so tired of it, you like, boy, bye. Boy, bye. Like, like whenever they doubted you. That's why you was like, boy, bye. Hey, like Worker William, how are you? And see, they're mad because you don't need them to complete you. Don't nobody need that. What else, Spirit? And you are receiving Dharma. Yes, you have so many blessings coming towards you. You might be separated from them, but you're definitely not alone. And they're realizing that the whole time you was the prize. And their hate never stopped your gift. Something about your online community. Yep, and you opened up your your throat chakra. You said whatever needed to be said about this deadbeat who did not know that you had this invisible protection. And those are the ones that want constant attention, but not anymore. Not that everybody know. Now they don't want nobody to find out about that shit. They don't want that attention now because they know with that attention, people are going to be asking questions. Absolutely, light worker William. My pleasure. Yep. Get ready for a special night out. See, somebody's in hermit mode. This is the same person that always plays victim. Right, exactly. And I know I spelled pedophile wrong on that card. Whenever I was creating them, I was just like, and I was like, damn. But I know it's with an O and not an I. See, somebody didn't realize that your cutoff game is strong. And now they are eating their words. They have to eat their words. Especially since y'all are separated. And you know what? You decided to let karma teach them. That's why you said you're not going to do a damn thing. And somebody is sitting here wondering what the fuck is going on, where they should have fact checked some shit. This could be a Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. I told you your skills are improving. They were sitting there thinking that you was being lazy. No, you was working. You was working on your spiritual gifts. What you think you got to do to work on your spiritual gifts? Lift weights? Huh? There's nothing that you talk about. It's all internal work. You was praying. You was talking to God. They are losing a lot because they lied on you. This could be a sibling, who was always competing with you, always talking to bullshit about you since childhood, and they are ashamed to admit to themselves and to you that they abused you. Now they know that words heal or hurt. Somebody is in the vicinity. They're close. I'm telling you, somebody want to come up to you. They want to ask you for prayer. They want to talk to you. They want to ask, they want to send this cryptic message to you, hoping that you get it and you just reach out to them, as opposed to them just being the adult that they need to grow up to be and pick up the phone and call you. They want you to do it. All right, y'all, let's get ready to swing the pendulum. Then I'm getting ready to go pick up my neighbor from the airport. We're going to go get something to eat, and then we're going to be watching that Super Bowl. I don't care who wins. I'm just going for the drinks. All right. Think of your question. Think of your question. Think of your question. All right. I'll give you a second to think of your question. All right. Let's see which way. What's the answer, Spirit? It looks like the answer is yes. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. Ooh, it's getting strong. The answer is absolutely yes. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate you all. I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for the comments. Except Lewis, we had to get rid of him. J. Mike, Shaylin, thank you so very much for moderating. I appreciate you both so very much. All right, y'all. I might be back later this evening. Just depends on how I'm feeling after I'm finished eating. And all right. Other than that, I want you all to have a wonderful day. Bye now.